All right, so let's talk about why most Amazon sellers get stuck between $10,000 to $30,000 per month on Amazon. Welcome back to part 3 of this short training series for Amazon sellers. I actually made another 2 videos where I talked about building a sourcing system that never runs dry and being able to install a cash flow engine that lets you scale without feeling broke. Now, if you missed those, make sure to check them out down below. But in this video, I want to talk about some things that almost no one talks about until it's too late, which is that you don't have a business, you have a job disguised as a business. So let me explain what I mean. Unfortunately, in most Amazon businesses, you as the business owner are the bottleneck. And scaling without systems is like trying to drive with the parking brake on. You can push the gas pedal all that you want, where you have more sourcing, more buying, more shipping, but something's still going to be holding you back. And so that resistance that you feel is you doing everything. Every ASIN, every shipment, every refund, every customer message, every virtual assistant task that you're not outsourcing, every prep center email, every listing decision, it all runs through you. And here's what happens. I've seen it hundreds, if not even thousands of times at this point over the last 10 years, where a seller hits $10,000 per month in sales and thinks, you know what, I'm going to hire some help once I get to $25,000 per month. And then maybe, just maybe they get to $25,000 per month and they say, I'll outsource once I get to $50,000 per month. But by then they're exhausted, they're burned out, they're stuck. And that's even if they made it to that next plateau of 25,000. Many sellers get to 10, think they'll outsource when they get much further in their business, and they can never get out of the day-to-day grind because they built a business that depends entirely on their effort instead of being fueled by it. So how do you fix this? Now, if you want to grow beyond your current level of sales without sacrificing your health, your family, or your sanity, then you need systems, and real systems in your business that other people can follow on a step-by-step basis. So let me walk you through the 3-step structure that I use to help sellers buy back their time. Now, step 1 of this 3-step process is a time inventory and task audit. Now, this is where we start with brutal clarity. You sit down and you map out every single thing that you're doing in your business on a day-to-day basis. That could be sourcing or prep or ship, messaging with customers or other suppliers. It could be administrative work or repricing, or even team management if you have built out a team, listing updates and account health, and so much more, even bookkeeping and tax and other things. Most sellers don't realize how much that they're carrying until they write it all down. Now, once you see it all, you're going to instantly know what's draining your time and what could be handed off to other people, because this clarity will help create confidence in what it is that you should do moving forward. Now, once you've established that, step 2 is adding in systems or SOP frameworks and an operations manual to your business. Now, a lot of people out there just think that hiring a virtual assistant is going to solve all their problems, that it's some magical easy button that they can do, hire a virtual assistant, and then the business gets lighter and easier. But if you don't have clear instructions for that team member, then you're just outsourcing your confusion, which is why the next step here is creating your own SOPs or standard operating procedures for the key areas of your business. Now, don't worry, this doesn't have to be complicated. I actually recently made a video where I showed my whole step-by-step process for creating 7-figure systems in my own business. That's out there on YouTube. You can check it out after this video. I'll even link it down below. Now, having an SOP in your business can be as simple as 1, having a screen recording, 2, having a Google Doc with steps written out with some screenshots, or 3, even just a checklist that your team can follow. This is so important that I actually give sellers in my Business Building Legends community over 100 of my own plug-and-play systems for sourcing, lead tracking, inventory restocking, repricing, and more. And then I help them to adapt those to their business with the help of the community. That way you're not starting from scratch and you don't get overwhelmed trying to systemize by yourself. However, just as I built all of mine over the last 10 years, you can do the same too by just starting with building the first system for you and your future team to follow. Now, as I mentioned a minute ago, I recently did make a YouTube video on how to build 7-figure systems in your business, where I walk through the exact step-by-step process that saves me hours. And I recommend that you check it out after the video. I'll be sure to link it down below. And now this brings me to step 3, which is time multiplication. Now, this is where things get fun. This is where you've audited your time, you've started to build out processes for your business, and now you can start multiplying your time. This is where you gradually hand off those low value tasks to virtual assistants, to prep centers, to automation tools and software, and even other team members that are local to you or someplace in the United States or in your country. And before long, you've bought back 5, 10, and maybe even 20 or more hours per week. But you're still in control. You're still steering the car for your business, but you're just not stuck having to be the engine doing all the work too. Now, let me give you a personal example in my own business. Years ago, I was stuck around $30,000 per month in sales, and every dollar came at the cost of my time. I was up late every night. I was shipping, sourcing, checking listings, and then I finally sat down. I documented what I was doing. I created some simple standard operating procedures. I hired team members to follow those systems for me, and that's when everything changed. I was able to scale faster, and within a few months, I grew to over $70,000 per month in sales. And while I can't guarantee that'll happen for you just by building a few systems, because there's a lot of details that go into that fast growth, but ultimately I was able to work fewer hours. I got my evenings back. I could go on walks again, and I could go to the gym if I wanted to. I could take Sundays off without any guilt, and I could even start thinking about new streams of income, which has led me to having over 30 different streams of income in the last few years. Now that's when it clicked for me. Freedom is found in the structure, and that's the kind of structure I help sellers to build now, both on YouTube and inside other communities and courses, etc., one step at a time, so that they can also feel that sense of freedom as well. Because I do these videos so I can help make online selling simple for those that are seeking financial freedom. Because ultimately, I know what it's like to be in your shoes. I've been there, and I know what it's like to get out. And it's a very tough road, and it can be a lonely road. And so hopefully the videos I make can help you to take the next right step in your business. And so here's your takeaway for today. If you're doing everything yourself right now, you might feel like you're hustling, but you're probably capping your growth without realizing it. And so this isn't about grinding harder in your business and trying to do more and more with less and less time that you have available. It's about installing systems that multiply your time so that you can grow without burning out in your business. So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. And that challenge is to do a time inventory audit, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, where just for one day, you write down everything that you touch in your business. Now, whenever you do this, you're going to be surprised at how much of it doesn't require you. And once you see that, you can start to reclaim your time and finally build a business that works even when you don't. Now, in the next video, I'll walk you through the fourth big roadblock I see that's holding e-commerce sellers back. And it's the one that makes or breaks your long-term growth. And I actually alluded to it, gave a little hint to it earlier in this video. So if you're paying attention, you might have picked up on it. If you've enjoyed this series so far, be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. I'm excited to see you next time. I hope you have a great rest of your day and a blessed rest of your week.